Welcome to another edition of the Sports Block. My name is Will Giddis alongside Jonah Mayer and Mag Bayumi. We are here for your Middle Creek Mustangs to take on the Wakefield Wolverines here on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Mustangs currently sitting atop of the SWAC conference. This is another big game for them, as every game this year will be. You may recognize me from last year. I've since graduated. I'm here for the day, so I will consider this a special edition of the Sports Lock. We're going to pass it over to my color commentators here to talk a little bit about what the game's going to be like, what we can expect, and how the night's going to go.
Tonight's going to be a lot of offensive power with two great quarterbacks in Grizel and McKay. McKay has about 163.5 yards per game, and the same is for Grizel. So we're going to have to see what the rushing quarterbacks can do. Elijah Perry has 200 yards per game, while their running back only has 50 yards per game.
But he does have an average of 9 points per game, which isn't too bad. But he's the lead scorer, so you're definitely gonna have to watch out for Dontel Dunstan and Matt McKay in this game.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no wind on the field. I would say that there's nothing to interfere with who is going to be the best team here this Friday afternoon. Wakefield's schedule so far this year, I believe they are 2-1 overall. Their first loss came 39-14 against Holly Springs, and since then they've won their past two games, looking to continue their streak against the Mustangs here. And as I mentioned, I'm from USC, and if you're familiar with USC football, Sandstorm is now playing, and it's like I never left Columbia in the first place. So we have your Mustangs. They're kind of trying to decide if they want the ball, if they're going to be kicking it off here.
And like the Wakefield, the Mustangs have a 3-0 record, and they're looking to make it 4-0 and keep a no losing streak record.
Yeah, and as you said, they're both just great offensive teams. It's just going to be fun to see what comes out of this.
Both teams have pretty good defenses, with Middle Creek only allowing 16.3 points per game and Wakefield only allowing 19.7.
In my experiences last year, at least, Middle Creek has been predominantly a first-half team. They would come out, score very early, and then in the second half, they would pretty much rely on the defense to get things done. Would you guys say that has been consistent so far this year?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And the Mustangs just broke through the White Knight barrier. That's talking about the whiteout day we just had here at Middle Creek. See, the Creek Crazies are definitely pumped up.
Yeah, you look at other high schools in the area, and, most of them do support a pretty solid student fan base. But I'd say the Mustangs probably have the most loyal, probably the most passionate, definitely the most in numbers around the county. And as a football team, you would have to imagine that that's definitely a big plus, having that morale boost with you at home as well as on the road. The Mustangs traditionally have traveled well to go out and support their teams.
Yeah, I mean, that fan base, with a fan base like that and them coming through the crowd like you saw previously, that just gets them really pumped up and it gets their adrenaline going. And Mustangs, and as we've seen in the past few games, Mustangs just come out fighting hard, and I believe that a big part of that is due to the Creek Crazies.
The Mustangs are going to be kicking off. Let's see if they try an onside kick like they have tried like the past 3 games.
Yeah, with Garner, they had really great success with it, but with Smithfield-Selma, they didn't try it as much. But, I mean, with Smithfield-Selma, it ended in 49-7, so you can see they were obviously doing something right.
Yeah, and you'd have to imagine with Castellano onside kicking as often as he likes to do, that opposing teams would at least try to put an extra person on that side of the field to prevent that onside kick from happening. And you don't really see that too much, and Middle Creek really does capitalize on those onside kicks. So that is a huge momentum swinger. We'll see what he will decide to do here.
Rubino kicks it off.
And it's a deep kick.
It's going to be a touchback for Middle Creek. The Wolverines are going to pick it up on the 20-yard line. And special note about Rubino, he just accepted an offer to App State.
App State, not in a major conference, but have dominated the conference that they belong to. I can't recall the name. Definitely big on football up there, and a scholarship is huge, especially even if you're not an athlete. Any high school student getting a scholarship to go to any college is very huge, very important.
Yeah.
So the Wolverines going to be in shotgun formation here on first down, looking to throw.
Quick little pass there. Throw through. Looks like a gain of about 7 yards.
And Dunstan Dontel with the catch.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 4.
Again in shotgun formation. We'll see if they stay in that all night.
Twins left.
Kelton with the run. A gain of about 5 yards.
So now 3rd and 1 here. They're a little bit short of that first down.
And just dropping back. He's having a little bit of trouble there.
Flag on the play. And he's going to slide. Looks like he got the first easily. I imagine this is probably going to be a holding call. We'll see what the call is.
Okay, with the flag, there's a flag on the play.
Tackle was by 44 Matt Marino.
There's
Looks like it's going to take the Wolverines back.
I believe that's going to be a 5-yard penalty. Maybe more. They're walking back quite a ways.
Yeah, it doesn't look. I think it might be a 10-yard penalty. It's behind the 20.
And we saw this with Garner. This early in the game, Garner was getting penalties, and that was eventually just their major downfall, is just small little penalties. And as a coach, the small ones have got to be the most frustrating.
Yeah, and talking to Castellano last year, he was always big on not having penalties. He was really big on let the best team win, and he felt like if the Mustangs gave up a lot of penalties, then they really beat themselves. So we'll see how disciplined the Mustangs are here. And that is going to be fumbled and recovered on the 1-yard line.
And no touchdown. No touchdown. Covered by Mitchell.
I believe that was a cornerback blitz. Came in from the side, didn't actually get the sack, and then somebody on the line tackled the quarterback, could not hang on to the ball, and that's going to result on the Mustangs on the goal line here.
That was a beautiful recovery by Mitchell. Right on the line. Almost got a touchdown right there.
This early, the Mustangs have got to be pumped up about that. You could see them on the sideline jostling. They're just really excited about that.
And this is an obvious run play here. Mustangs still lining up in the shotgun. They do run that spread offense. They traditionally have run that spread offense. So while most teams might run in an I formation or something that they can just power the ball in, you imagine they're just going to hand it off to Perry here and let him dance on into the end zone.
Yeah, why not? I mean, Perry's just a fantastic running back. I mean, he's been picking up like amazing yardage, like somewhere in the around the 200 range, which is insane for high school football.
And in fact, they do. And he's going to have a little bit of a push there. And Mustangs draw first blood here. Good job by the O-line of getting some push. That's going to put them up 6-0
at 10:52 in the first quarter.
So Castellano's decision to defer the ball pays off as the Mustangs do, in fact, score first. They will be receiving the ball in the second half as well.
And here's Michael Rubino lining up to take the kick. So we'll make it 7-0 with 10:50 left in the first quarter.
And the kick is good. 7-0, 10:51 left in the quarter.
So with that, you really didn't see anything from Grizel, and obviously enough, it was an obvious run situation. From what I've seen, he usually starts off very strong. I want to see how he's going to come out here tonight. If the Mustangs have success on the run game, they might not even been throwing that much, with Elijah Perry averaging over 200 yards a game. I doubt Castellano here will try an onside kick after going up 7-0, but the element of surprise is always there with the Mustangs kicking the ball off.
Yeah, I mean that's just been a big thing throughout all the games so far. Because I mean, with Garner, they were really pushing the running plays with Elijah Perry, and with Smithfield Selma, I saw they relaxed off on that a little bit and let Brand Grizel really use his arm there. So they've been really changing it up and just trying to throw off the teams, because when they watch the films, they kind of base their defense on what they've seen thus far in the films.
I think Rubino will only try a little squib here because they're going to be prepared for a long kick and an onside kick.
It is, in fact, an onside kick. And Wakefield is going to recover the ball. I saw it the second he started. He slowed himself down, and I think that was a dead giveaway for Wakefield that he was going to onside kick the ball. And they do, in fact, recover. Mustangs defense going to need to make a stop here, as they have great field position on their own 48-yard line. Yeah,
that's one thing you need to be careful when you're doing those onside kicks. You really just can't give it away. Like just any little stutter step or anything like that, that's pretty much kills the play right there.
We'll see how they pass it off.
And that's going to be tackled for a loss of about 2 or 3 yards there.
Mustangs defense has definitely come out fighting. Yeah, it was a loss of 2 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and 12. They're again in shotgun formation. Twins left and right. Fake handoff.
And he avoids the sack. He's going to scramble to get back to the line. Good job by the quarterback of not going down. It looked like it was going to be a repeat of what happened last drive, but that's still going to bring up 3rd and 11. And Mustangs showing some dominance on defense here early in the game.
Yeah, the Wolverines have definitely been having some trouble with Mustangs getting into the backfield.
And what that really boils down to is the secondary doing a good job of keeping coverage on the receiver to get the line a good amount of time to get to the quarterback.
Incomplete. And a flag on the play.
See what that one's for. I really didn't see anything happen. Perhaps pass interference just based off where the ball went and where the receiver was.
Yeah, but I mean, it must have been something pretty small, but the officials must have seen it.
Actually, that penalty was going to be against Wakefield, I think. I saw Castellano give the decline the penalty. We'll see what the official call is here.
Looks like
they're still discussing.
Yeah, the refs are still talking about it.
And never did learn my hand signals for what penalties were what. But it will be against Smithfield. It's declined. That's going to bring up 4th and about 11.
I mean, still, as a coach, you still got to be frustrated because you don't want those penalties. I mean, even if they are waved off, it's definitely not something you want.
Let's see if Wakefield will go for the 4th down or they're just going to punt it.
I don't know why you would go for the conversion here. I mean, you're 10 yards out from the first down line.
And that penalty was actually for an ineligible receiver downfield. Here comes the punt. A lot of Mustangs going after it. None of them got to him.
Yeah, great hang time.
Schmidt Schmidt receiving.
Looked like he called for the fair catch, then hoped nobody saw it and was ready to take off. But that one's going to be around the 15-yard line. 12 is the official yard line on the scoreboard.
That's just one of the things you just go, oh man, about. Like when you see when you wave the fair catch and then you see a really good opening that you could have ran through. That's just one of the moments you're just like, oh man.
Personally, that has never happened to me, but if I were put in that situation, I would probably agree with you.
Yeah. Might as well try, I guess.
And fakes the pitch and actually going to hand it off to, I believe that's Perry.
And he's tackled by number 1, Procopio, Ronnie Procopio.
Ronnie Procopio with the tackle.
The Mustangs are definitely utilizing their back, Elijah Perry.
So 2nd and 12 here.
Trips
Gristle
left.
looking to pass over to number 2 for the reception. That's just going to get
Ashton Mitchell.
a gain of about 2 yards.
David Knight on the coverage on that play.
Tackled by number 41, David Knight by the Wakefield Wolverines.
5. 3rd down, 7.
Running Twins left and right here with Brant Grisell back.
And there's a flag on the play. It looks like it might have been an offsides.
It's going to be against Wakefield. Probably going to be a 5-yard penalty. Going to bring up 3rd and 2.
As I said, this is really reminding me of the Garner game, because Garner, they just had more and more penalties like that just really ended up affecting them at the end to a point where they just couldn't come back. Twins left and right with Brant Grisell back with Elijah Perry.
And they're going to, in fact, hand it off. Bounces to the outside. And I believe they're going to be short here. Mustang's going to go 3 and out. They're going to bring out the punt unit.
Looks like that tackle was by David Cockman.
As we said earlier, the Middle Creek Crazies out in large numbers today. Banners and flags and anything that you're legally allowed to bring to a high school football game, they have probably brought here today.
Procopio Ronnie back for the receiving the kick.
And that one's going to take a fair bounce. That one's going to be down at around the 48-yard line of Wakefield. So once again, they're set up with good field position. We'll see if the Mustangs defense can keep pressure and make them go 3 and out once again.
I mean, the Mustangs defense, I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, the Mustangs defense has just been really like the X factor with keeping them alive during the games.
McKay has been predicted every single time by the Middle Creek defense. He has to change it up a little.
And hand off to number 8 here. Finds a hole up the middle. Gain of about 5.
Whitehead, Kelton with the run.
Believe that is the longest gain of yards so far this game.
Looks like there's a little confusion on the Wolverines line. Running Twins left with McKay back with a back. Looks like Kelton Whitfield.
Another handoff up the middle. Gain of about a yard before being stuffed.
That's the one thing you really got to be careful with the Mustangs is our line is just tremendous. So you really got to be careful and make sure that there's a really big opening there, because you really don't want to get stuffed by the line. Looks like they're gonna run trips right. Looks like they're gonna go for another pass, or McKay might run it.
Oh, and he runs it, and he's taken down.
That was a good job of getting off the block there and taking him down. I don't know if that was designed as a QB draw play, but he saw a hole and took off, and that's going to bring up 4th and 4, according to the scoreboard, and they're going to stay on the field, it looks like.
The tackle was by number 47, Anthony Mitchell.
I don't know if I agree with this call. The Mustangs defense has been very stingy so far with yards. And looking to throw here. Caught. Completed pass. That's going to be enough for the first down at about the 40-yard line.
Yeah, well, this receiver, it looked like the receiver had just enough of an opening there to make a quick little catch before he stepped out of bounds.
That was a nice catch by Cooper. That's the kind of plays they need to get up the field.
And a handoff to number 8 here. Cuts up the middle. Gain of a yard, if any.
Though Wolverines have definitely had a little bit of trouble picking up some yardage.
Tackled by Weinberner.
2nd and 10 here. Looking to throw, steps up, goes to run, and he is brought down hard.
Brought down hard by Anthony Mitchell.
Anthony Mitchell has definitely been wrapping up the tackles. Or racking them up, excuse me.
That was a beautiful play. He got right off the block and stuffed him right there.
Yeah, you know, playing on the D-line isn't always about who can sack the quarterback. Getting off those blocks is a big part of the position, and they've done a great job of that so far here today.
And he's been very successfully wrapping them up and just reading where usually the quarterback is the one he tackles. And just been
almost an interception by Tavon Holland.
And again, the Mustangs not blitzing too many people, but enough that it's causing the quarterback to go under pressure and either not make successful throws or try and step up and be brought right back down. Nonetheless, they're going to bring out the punter here. They're going to try to give the Mustangs poor field position. We'll see if they can down it inside the 10 or if it'll result in a touchback.
And this is definitely reminding me of the Garner game, like some of the aspects of it, because, I mean, the Mustangs looks like they've learned a little bit from...
And that punt was actually very well placed. I don't know what the special teams was doing, but they just kind of gave up when it hit the ground. And had they just kept up with the ball, it would have been down inside the 10. That's just lazy playing right there. That was a great opportunity that they missed out on.
But as I was saying, the Mustangs defense looks to definitely have learned from what Garner was actually using on their own offense. So, I mean, they were just keeping up a constant pressure on the quarterback, so Brant Griselle had to quick make a throw, and it looks like they're doing the same thing to Wakefield here.
It looked like it was designed as a little slant. 3 Wakefield defenders there to tackle him as soon as the ball is caught. Gain of none.
Jay-Sean Bryce with
David Cockman looked like he had that tackle there. Brant Griselle back with trips right.
Running with Perry, and he goes up. A run of about 7 or 8 yards.
Brought down by number 4, Jaleel Scroggins, and number 5, Tommy Barons.
So 3rd and 3 here. Gristle looking to probably pass, going to run the ball. Play called dead, though. See what the call is.
False
start on the offense.
And this is going to bring the Mustangs back a little bit. And as I said, those just little penalties can really add up, and they're obviously frustrating. It's going to bring back 5 yards.
3rd and 8 with about 4 minutes left in the quarter.
But the Mustangs, they're probably not sweating right now, but 7-0 just this early into the game. Oh, Brant looks like he's running it.
Out of the pocket.
And he had a receiver deep, probably had 4 or 5 steps on the cornerback.
Mitchell.
That's going to be 4th down. Mustangs looking to punt here.
Just slipped right through Mitchell's hands.
But as a quarterback, you can, like, when you start having pressure on you, it's got to be really hard to start looking upfield because you want to get rid of that ball fast.
Oh, it's not. Nobody said it was ever easy, but he did definitely have a receiver open, and that really is what separates the good quarterbacks from the great quarterbacks, is being able to throw under pressure.
Big kick by Rubino.
It's going to be
Procopio
fielded.
with the return, and he gets tangled up.
So that one's going to be down at about the 31-yard line. I believe I just saw a flag fly onto the field. We'll see what
that was
that's for.
Flag on the play. See what they call it.
Came pretty late during the play. If I had to guess anything, it's unsportsmanlike conduct, or who knows.
Yeah, it was awfully late. It was a few seconds after the hit, so
yeah, it was in fact a personal foul against the Mustangs. I didn't quite catch exactly what happened, but it's going to give them an extra 15 yards, I believe.
And as Castellano is certainly not going to be happy about that, because the big penalties, I was talking about the small penalties earlier, but the big penalties are even worse.
So for the third straight time, Wakefield's going to start with solid field position at the 49-yard line.
Let's see if they can capitalize on it this time. Running trips right.
And he runs it with Kelton again.
Another quick handoff by McKay.
It's going to be a gain of about a yard or two.
Last game, Middle Creek had a lot of penalty trouble. They got like 7 penalties and lost about 50 yards just from the penalties.
And there's going to be an injured Wolverine on the play. Looks like he's just shooken up a little bit. I think we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. He one block, and he just shrugged. And we're back with the Sports Block. 2nd and 8. Looked like he just cramped up on that injury timeout. Trying to bounce it to the outside, but he's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of about 2.
He's brought down by Luke Gray, number 12.
And number 7, Luke Gray.
And that's going to bring up about 3rd and 10. So far, a mostly defensive game, although the Mustangs did score early.
Wolverines are running twins left and right here.
Looks like they're going deep.
Oh, that receiver was wide open. That's going to pick up the Wolverines a first down.
That was a beautiful catch by Cooper Marius.
They're going to pick it up from there on the 35-yard line, on the Mustangs' own 35-yard line.
Yeah, and Castellano loves those zone blitzes. He brought some men to try and get to the quarterback, and the defense was in zone offense or zone defense, and the receiver just found a way to cut through there.
They were running it, and they got all caught up.
You can see you can sit there. You can definitely see the good sportsmanship between these two teams.
They switched out their running back, Kelton Whitehead, for Jeremy Massenberg.
They're running trips left here. Looks like it's going to be another pass. Oh, looked like it was a little high and left.
The throwing on 2nd and 10 through behind the receiver would have given the receiver some room to run had he hit him in stride, but that's going to bring up 3rd and 10 here. And keep in mind, this is high school football, so they are still well out of field goal range.
And that pass was intended for number 2, Michael Bout-Khalid. Running twins left and right here again. Another pass, and again, the receiver is wide open.
Marius Cooper again with the beautiful catch.
And that is going to be enough for the first down now within the 30-yard line at about the 25.
Cooper Marius has found a way to break through Middle Creek's defense. Middle Creek has to find a way to cover him, or this could be bad for them.
Yeah, and this zone coverage, once you kind of get like the hang of where to be at what time, it's kind of hard to get the defense back in shape.
Scrambling here, probably his furthest run of the game, going to be for 5 yards.
Brought down by Anthony Mitchell.
And McKay is a very versatile quarterback, so I mean, if he finds an opportunity to run it and he thinks it will work out, he'll definitely run it. So he's definitely a double threat that you have to watch out for. And Brant Grizel is also a quarterback like that. Like, I've seen him run many a times, and he is a very fast guy.
And that's going to be caught at around the line of scrimmage, gain of about 2. Almost dropped the ball when he caught it, though. Going to bring up 3rd and about 3.
Catch made by Dontel Dunstan.
And stick around after the end of the first quarter. We're going to go down to Abby Carr for an on-the-field report. Just around 40 seconds left here in this first quarter.
7-0 Mustangs. Running trips left.
And looking to go deep here in the end zone.
Almost.
Broken up by that cornerback. That was a great play because it looked like he had him beat, got a hand in there to make sure that ball did not get caught.
Yeah, that was just a outstanding play. It looked like he had it, but then the cornerback just came in and said, "No siree."
Alex Sutton with that stop.
Is that a direct quote?
That is a direct quote.
All right, so 4th and 2 here. Looks like they're bringing out the field goal unit. This is going to be about a 34-yard kick. And if the Georgia kicker and Kansas State kicker are any indication, this isn't exactly a chip shot anymore. Go Cox. And just barely gets that one off. And no good. So Mustangs remain up 7-0 with 17 seconds here in the first quarter.
And that came a little too close for comfort for Castellano. You can tell he's not going to be happy about that. Because, I mean, that was very nearly a touchdown. If it wasn't for Alex Sutton being there, that almost definitely would have been a touchdown. So they're definitely going to address that at halftime.
Even after Alex Sutton got rid of it, still that field goal.
Yeah, that was awful close, too.
And the clock is running here. And I think they're just going to let the first quarter end. And, in fact, that is the end of the first quarter. So Mustangs going to be going into the second quarter up 7-0, but not before we go to Abby Carr for an on-the-field report. Having some technical difficulties here. And technical difficulties, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned, you're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. He one block, and he just shrugs him off. And we're back with the Sports Block. First play looking to go deep is Grizel, and he's got the cornerback beat over his head, lost track of the ball. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Now we're going to go down to Abby Carr for an on-the-field report.
Here at the 4th game of the season for the undefeated Middle Creek Mustangs and the Wakefield Wolverines. The Mustangs are looking confident and determined to maintain their winning streak with 1 touchdown already in the first quarter, making the score 7-0. This is Abby Carr for Sports Block. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Abby. And back to the game. Throwing on 2nd and 10, broken up by Wakefield's defense. Excuse me, that was 3rd and 10. And now it's going to be a 3rd and out for the Mustangs. Bringing out the punt team here on 4th and 10.
Rubino's, there's definitely no point in going for it here, so I wouldn't, don't be surprised at all.
And another good kick by Rubino. Going to let that one bounce.
Did it touch him, or?
It appeared that it did.
It did touch him.
And
Middle Creek ball.
Just a boneheaded play by Wakefield. That is, special teams has not been their specialty here so far today. Mustangs going to get the ball on Wakefield's 34-yard line. That is one of the stranger plays I've seen because he didn't even actually try to go get the ball. I don't know if he even knew it hit him.
Yeah, it looked like he just walked away from it.
Mustangs put a lot of effort into the special teams versus a lot of other teams. And the flag on the play.
And as you said, Laundry on the field, usually going to be holding.
And the tackle was by number 41, David Knight.
on the offense, and that's going to bring up 1st and 15.
Penalty is against Middle Creek.
Looks like it's going to actually be on the Mustangs. Let's see what the call is here.
Moves the ball back 10 yards.
That was a 10-yard penalty. It's going to bring up 4th and long.
1st and 10 at the 44.
Or first and long, sorry.
And caught by number 44 going out of bounds. And just for record-keeping purposes, that play was a 2nd and 20.
Evan Yanulovich with the catch. He had amazing plays last game. He had like 4 or 5 catches right in the beginning, helped him get an early touchdown.
And in addition to that, there was a personal foul against the Wolverines, and that's going to move the Mustangs up even further.
It's going to give the Mustangs, put the Mustangs almost in the red zone here, or in the red zone, excuse me.
It's going to be 1st and goal for the Mustangs.
See if Wakefield can hold them out of the, keep them from scoring a touchdown here.
1st and 6. 1st and goal, rather, 6 yards to the end zone. Going to be loss of about 1 or no gain, right around there.
William Blue on the tackle. A loss on that play. Second down.
Mustangs are running trips left here.
And Grizel caught. Going to be called a touchdown. Good job by the receiver of getting into the end zone.
Yeah, you just had a big stretch there and a great effort going for that touchdown.
So that's going to put the Mustangs up 2 scores here. Rubino going to be on for the extra point.
Rubino to attempt the extra point.
And Rubino's here going to attempt the extra point.
And it's good.
I'll tell you boys a funny story. When we were playing, when the Gamecocks were playing, I believe it was Texas A&M, or maybe it was ECU, they were warming up the field goals before the game, and every once in a while the kicker would throw or kick the ball so high it went over the net into the student section. And in the student section, we're a bit rowdy, so we would take the footballs, throw them back as high as we can, and then launch them behind us out of the stadium. And actually, I don't think anybody actually ended up getting hurt, but the police were trying to find the people who were doing it, and it was this whole big thing. But word of the wise, if you're ever in Williams-Brice Stadium, kicking field goals, don't kick it over the net.
Well, I mean, as always, the student section always gets really rowdy at a game. I mean, it's just so much fun being there and supporting your team.
Yeah, and even if you don't go to a big D1 school, just going to any sporting event, getting excited for the game, and being out there to support your team. I don't think there's any feeling like it, because they can't hear you. You're just another voice in the crowd, but being able to go out there and cheer is definitely one of the most exciting things.
And it certainly helps out the football team too, though. I mean, hearing all those voices, I mean, every little one counts.
And that's going to be a touchback for Wakefield. They're going to start on the 20-yard line.
Wakefield takes over at the 20.
This is one of the few times they've actually had bad field position here. Well, not bad, but just not one of their better field positions. And 14-0 with 10:55 left in the second quarter.
And here's the snap, looking to throw on first, over the middle, caught. This is number 2.
Michael Batakil with the catch.
For finally being body slammed at around the 47, 48-yard line.
Yeah, That was definitely a big tackle.
The tackle was made by Tavon Holland on the Mustangs.
And if you recall, a couple weeks ago in the NFL, Antonio Brown of the Steelers absolutely Sparta kicking the Browns kicker in the helmet. I don't know if you guys saw that. That is probably one of the best takedowns in NFL so far.
It was, there was a lot of different videos on it. It was quite a thing.
And that was about a 13-yard gain on the ground for Wakefield.
Now Wakefield has great field position. I mean, Wakefield has just been able to make it's like small yardage gain, and then it's just one tremendous play to make up like 20 yards.
And there's going to be a timeout on the field by Middle Creek. We're going to take a quick commercial timeout while they talk things over. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute rip. And we're back with the Sports Block. 1st and 10 for Wakefield. We're coming off a Middle Creek timeout. They're on Mustang's 47-yard line. 42-yard line. Pressure on the quarterback. Throws out of bounds. Going to bring up 2nd and 10. And Mustangs probably have put pressure on the quarterback a majority of these downs so far, getting a good job of getting him out of the pocket and making him scramble.
And with the score update in the Apex versus Riverside, first quarter 14-7 Apex. Athens Drive versus Green Hope. Athens Drive up 10, second quarter. And then East Chapel Hill versus Chapel Hill, 21, first quarter.
And that was another catch over the middle by number 12. Breaks a tackle and gets a few extra yards. Flag on the play. I believe this is probably going to be a personal foul against the Mustangs. It came in there pretty late.
Yeah, and I'm going to pick up some more yardage for them, so. But, I mean, as I was saying before, it's really just been a little bit of yardage, and then a huge play like that.
And as you mentioned earlier, Green Hope is actually down in the game. They're currently second in the SWAC conference. Middle Creek 3-0. Right now, Green Hope is 3-1, so Middle Creek can further their lead in the division with a Green Hope loss here tonight.
Definitely, and that's definitely something that Castellano is probably looking at and probably getting pretty excited about.
And a little throw over to the sideline, hits him in the head. I think he was supposed to turn around and catch the ball, as one does, and did not do that.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of miscommunication there. So.
It's a good saying, as one does.
As one does.
And looks like they're trying to get the chains in order here. I believe it's 2nd and goal, maybe. I don't. Chain game is not on point here tonight.
Looks like they're right outside the.
And under pressure, just barely gets rid of it over the end zone. Flag on the play. If I had to guess, this is going to be pass interference, but it's really. That was not a catchable ball, and pass interference is only applicable if they felt the receiver could have come down with it.
I think it's going to be that he threw it and there was no one there.
No, that would typically be there was a receiver in the area, and it was thrown at the feet of a Mustangs defender. So, I think no call here would be the best call.
But let's bring the Mustangs back. going to put Wakefield in the red zone. Well, they've already been in there,
but it will, in fact, get them half the distance to the goal line and a fresh set of downs, I believe.
This is really a dangerous situation for Middle Creek here.
And plays called dead. And here we go. And pressure once again, steps up, gets rid of the ball.
And it was almost intercepted there.
Castellano on the sideline wanting an intentional grounding flag. There was a receiver in the area. It did look like intentional grounding, but because there was a receiver in the area, no flag.
Yeah, and I haven't seen like hardly any intentional grounding flags in high school football, because they're always looking to try and make as much yardage as possible. So they're not really looking for like what probably is the best at over time.
And that's going to be a Wakefield touchdown, making the score 14-7 pending the extra point attempt. Mustangs do have a one-possession lead so far. They do have 9 minutes and 39 seconds here left in the second quarter.
Massenberg with the touchdown.
And this is actually turning out to be a closer game than I actually expected.
Yeah, I was talking with former Mustangs kicker Chris Huey on the way down here tonight about what to expect from Wakefield and what to expect from Middle Creek. And the way he kind of described Wakefield's team, it seemed like this was going to be an easy win for the Mustangs. But, this is high school football. Anything can happen. Any team can decide to show up here tonight. And, it is a pretty close game. That's not to say that one team is better than the other, but putting on a show here for the crowd, not a total blowout.
Yeah, was Smithfield-Selma, with it being 49-7, only at the half when it was called. And we actually, that was the first mercy rule since the mercy rule was allowed in high school football. And, I was expecting Wakefield to be similar to this because, Middle Creek has an average of 37.3 points per game, with Wakefield only having 20.3 points per game. And their defense is actually, Wakefield's defense is actually quite similar to ours, because with only 19.7 points allowed per game, and we only allow 16.3 points per game.
And here's a kick from Wakefield. A little bit of a squib off to the sideline at about the 30-yard line, a little bit before there. And, it's not as prevalent in high school football, but it is in both college and NFL. The kickoff return has really been taken out as an element in football. Kickers either kick it into the back end zone or just don't give them any opportunity to return the ball. And, it's strategic, but at the same time, I also feel like it takes away from one of the dimensions of the game being kick returns.
Yeah, and I got a little excited there. Looked like number 4, Elijah Perry, was about to break away there, but
he was pushed out by Julian Drew on the Wolverines.
So 2nd and 2 here. And going to hand off to Stuart Fine, I believe this is, for a huge gain.
Yeah, Elijah Perry and Stuart Fine are certainly definitely both threats that the team that Wakefield has to be looking at. And Brent Grizel is also a big threat because, he has an arm and he can run.
Everybody's a big threat.
He was
You're a big threat, and you're a big threat. And 1st and 10 here.
Perry
up
with the run.
middle, stuffed. But, Stuart Fine and Elijah Perry do bring two different styles of running to the table. Perry, more of a speed, finesse type running back. Stuart Fine has a little bit more push to him, more of a power back. That's not to say that he can't find the holes and outrun people, but he usually gets tackled for falling forward. And you talk about Gristle, as a threat. He takes off on a QB keeper for a gain of about 8.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen through various games that Brant is definitely not afraid to run, unlike most quarterbacks that you see like every day, like in the NFL. They'll just kind of ground it right there.
Well, there is a big difference between defenders in high school football and the 6'5", 275-pound linemen that are in the NFL.
That's
you
true.
have to keep that in mind.
Oh, flag. That was obvious false start. Obvious false start. Gonna drag the Mustangs back.
Yeah, I mean, you still definitely have big people in high school football, like David Cockman, who we've seen get a few tackles today. He's 6'2" and 220 pounds, so he's definitely someone out to watch out for.
Well, when you're playing in Donovan Sioux on the football field, you let me know if you're gonna run with the football. And Gristle looking to throw here over to the sideline.
Nice bullet.
And tackled out of bounds, gain of about 15.
And as we were like talking about earlier, Brant is definitely a double threat. He has one heck of an arm, and he is not afraid to run. And he just demonstrated both of those within a few plays.
Last season, he had about 3,300 yards just throwing.
And Gristle goes down, looking to step up and make a throw, but none of his receivers got open. It's going to be a loss of about 5 yards on the sack.
Quarterback sacked on that play by number 92.
He was sacked by Prince Asanye on the Wolverines.
It's going to bring up second down, and it looks like 14.
And looking to throw here on second down the sideline. Easily would have been an interceptable ball. No receiver was in the area, and he cannot come down with that interception, fortunately for the Mustangs.
Tommy Boranais, that was so close. Just slipped right out of his hands.
Yeah, just a little bit of a juggle there. And you can obviously see he was a little disappointed about that.
I think it's just the Wakefield wasn't as prepared as the Mustangs were. I think the Wakefield was expecting to get destroyed, and then they saw they had a chance, and then now they're getting more upbeat and picking up the tempo. And
Gristle goes deep once again and caught.
Beautiful throw.
And they're calling it out of bounds. And excuse me, because I do not recall, is it 1 or 2 feet that has to be in bounds for high school football?
I believe it is 1.
I thought he definitely had at least 1 foot in bounds.
I thought it had to be 2, so that's what I thought. Maybe he just overstepped a little bit and got on the line.
And I'm being told by a professional analyst, Coach Wes Petty, that it is, in fact, only 1 foot that needs to be in bounds. And I thought from this angle, he definitely had one of those foot. His foot was definitely in bounds in my perspective.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, but I mean, we don't matter. It's the refs.
I mean, I think maybe he was just slightly like touching the line, and from the ref, he's really picky or something, and he just decided against it.
Yeah, sometimes the refs can be really, really hard on out of bounds. Mustangs have.
And I don't know who had the ball or where it ended up, but somebody's tackled for a loss. Oh, and another fumble on the goal line. Mustangs recover, and that's going to give the Mustangs offense yet another chance within 5 feet of the end zone. This is one of those times where you really wish that you had instant replay for high school football. We had it briefly last year, so it's very difficult to kind of execute with what we have here at the Sports Block. So if you ever want to give us a large donation of money, please feel free. We'll make that happen. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. They called a timeout. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And we're back with the Sports Block. Ball on the 1 yard line, obvious run situation for the Mustangs. Handoff to Perry, and gets tackled and actually fumbles. Luckily recovered by Gristle.
A lot of turnovers in such a short amount of time.
If you have any questions or comments, just hashtag us at #SportsBlockAnswers, and we'll answer your questions and respond to your comments. Or take a picture of yourself at the game at SportsBlock MCHS, and we will give you a shout out on the show.
And Stiff Arms, one defender, has two to beat. And going to be tackled short of the end zone back to the 1 yard line. So third and about a yard to the end zone.
That was very close. You could see he was definitely trying to reach for that one, spinning and giving everything he had to try and just put it in the end zone.
I'm amazed that Middle Creek's still keeping their spread play. I thought they'd condense it more to get their running back in.
And quarterback on the keeper into the end zone for a touchdown. That is another Middle Creek touchdown, making the score going to be 21-7 pending the extra point. Good play design by the offensive coordinator to have Gristle just run it right on in there himself. And though, being that this is my first high school football game this year, a bit of a change of pace from what we saw last year. Typically on 2nd and 4th or 3rd and 1, to try and switch things up, they would just do a quick slant route. That was back when we had Curtis Bernston among other receivers that could really just overpower the defenders. Don't really have that this year. Not saying that our receiver core is any better or worse, but we really don't have much of a height advantage with our receivers, and it's kind of something you need for those kinds of plays.
Yeah, but I mean, our receivers are no slouches either, because I mean, many of them are extremely fast.
And another one of those receivers, not quite as big, but Jay Schuler, another receiver that graduated from Middle Creek last year.
Yeah, he was immensely fast. I played lacrosse with him, and he was probably the fastest kid on our team.
The Wes Welker of Middle Creek Athletics, minus the racetrack. Well, hopefully.
Rubino's gonna kick it again. Just talking to the ref there a little bit.
You know, you got to make friends when you're on the football field, whether it be people on your team, the other team, the referee. Referee's probably preferred.
Yeah.
Hey, man, what are you doing after the game? You want to hang out? We're all going to cookout. Pile in. And I will say, as nice as the University of South Carolina is, the number one thing I was excited for is there's actually a cookout on campus. You know, of all the things, SEC football, being in college, best business program, whatever, all that, cookout. Just as often as humanly possible.
And that was a huge kick by Rubino.
It's going to be a touchback. They're going to start off at the 20-yard line.
And I don't want to brag. I'm going to stop talking about USC in a second, but Chick-fil-A is on our meal plan. we could eat Chick-fil-A literally for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day if we wanted to.
Gotta watch yourself over time with that, though.
Well, if you get me on the coach's, not the coach's cam, the commentator cam, you can see I'm about 100-something pounds of skin and bone. So as of right now, I'm not too worried about it. quarterback tackled for a loss of about 2.
Tackled by Luke Gray on the Wolverines team.
Luke Gray again.
Seems like Wakefield has a couple really strong players, such as Luke Gray and Morris. They're really making big plays here.
Quick little screen pass there.
And trying to make something happen, dancing around, probably a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. They're going to have another about 10 yards to go.
It's about 5 minutes left in the second quarter.
Math was slightly off. They have about 5 yards to go. Looking to throw here under pressure once again. Scrambling, gets rid of it, and skims the ground and dropped eventually, so it's going to bring up 4th and 5th.
McKay, I thought he had like a little opening there, but he decided to throw it to one of his receivers instead. But he was running full speed, so that was a little bit of a strange decision because when you're running full speed, there's no way you're going to be near as accurate as when you're in the pocket, relaxed, and like prepped to throw.
And a Wakefield player running out here. Just under 5 minutes left here in the quarter. That one's going to bounce and field it. He's going to try and make something happen here.
Whoa.
Stiff-armed and eventually tackled a little bit before the 50-yard line. It looks like it's on the 47, the Mustangs' 47-yard line.
Managed to break a few ankles before going down.
So I was at a football game. I promised I was going to stop talking about it, but it's a funny story. And at USC, everybody gets a towel before the game because that's kind of Williams-Brice Stadium's thing. And one of our receivers just juked out a defender so hard, and I got so excited that I whipped the girl in front of me on the bleachers with the towel. Just like instinctually, I was so excited, and she turned around and just like punched me because I hit her with my towel.
I mean, when you're at a football game, you get so pumped up, you don't even realize what you're doing.
First down pass is incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up. Yeah, those towels start swinging, and everybody's getting hit in the face. It looks really exciting. Like, man, I want to be there until you're actually get a face full of cotton. And Gristle, under pressure, dumps it out to his back, Elijah Perry.
Oh, Elijah Perry managed to make a quick little move there to break the tackle.
Taken down by Jamal Smith.
Still going to need about 7 yards here for the first.
I don't foresee any problems with Middle Creek getting this first down, unless Wakefield has another one of its great defensive plays where it just breaks through the line and manages to force a fumble.
And Gristle here on 3rd. Nobody in the area of the ball. And that's going to bring up another 4th down. And you look at the 3 touchdowns the Mustangs have scored. 2 of them have been off fumble recoveries on the 1-yard line. So not to say that the offense is struggling. They're just not putting up the numbers that you would expect the Mustangs to put up. I mean, you look at the first 3 games they've played. They beat Garner 28. They put up 28 points. Then against E.E. Smith, 35 points. And then last game they put up 49 points. They are just absolutely a force to be reckoned with here on offense, just maybe a little bit slow out of the gate here tonight. And a nice punt out of bounds, going to be about the 20-yard line here.
I think what's really making it a problem here for the Mustangs is I think it's because Wakefield actually has a very similar playing style to Middle Creek.
Yeah, both are running a spread offense, which really you would imagine wouldn't really affect the defense that much. But perhaps both sides on defense are having trouble covering, or not having trouble, doing well against this spread offense.
Yeah, because they're running trips right, sorry. Most of the teams they've played against, flag down. Most of the teams they've played against have definitely run a condensed offense. Like Garner, they mostly let their running back, Naheem Hicks, run it, and they just condensed it so they could provide him like an optimal hole to run through. And I mean, the Middle Creek defense is definitely used to. Sorry for the rant, but I mean, the Middle Creek defense is definitely used to a more condensed offense. So it's got to be a little weird for them playing against such a spread out offense.
Yeah, and you know, they do get to watch tape of the team. That one's tipped at the line, incomplete, 2nd and 15. They do get footage of the team before going into the game, just like they do in the NFL. And so they're able to prepare for who they're going to be playing. So perhaps since both teams have a spread offense, they were actually able to probably prepare for this game by playing against their offense, the defenses, that is. Kind of learns the ins and the outs of the spread type offense.
Yeah. Running twins left and right here.
Over the middle, right to a Middle Creek defender. He's got a block, and he's going to stroll right on in there for a Middle Creek touchdown.
The touchdown and the interception by 32, Trey Hamilton for the Mustangs. He's going to bring the score up to 27-7. And if Rubino can get the field goal, then it'll be 28-7.
And as you said, Rubino on here for the point after attempt. So far here, Middle Creek's defense has been what is kind of galloping the Mustangs ahead of Wakefield here. Pun intended, 28-7 is the score. 3 minutes and 51 seconds here in the first half. 3-possession lead now, and knowing Castellano really kind of trying to put the foot on the throat of Wakefield, and would not be surprised if we saw an onside kick here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all because, I mean, even when Middle Creek was dominating Smithfield-Selma, they still kept on trying onside kicks, trying to get the ball more and more, and just, I guess, really, yeah, just trying to absolutely put their heel on the throat.
So we had talked about earlier, Middle Creek actually did put on a mercy rule, I do believe, against one of the teams they played. Do you know the specifics about that rule and maybe explain it to us about how many points need to be scored and how much amount of time?
It's if you have 42 points over your opponent, then they have a running clock for the rest of the game, and that running clock lets the time go out, and if you go above that point limit, then the game could end early.
Okay. See, that was something that I believe was just implemented this year, so that's something I'm not really familiar with. Mustangs not really in that position. They do have a good lead, not that sizable of a lead. Of course, running clock would accelerate the game quite a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, the first mercy rule I've ever seen in high school football. I mean, it started out like this, so I mean, Middle Creek might take off in the end again, because they've over time they've shown that they gradually increase points as they go along. But last year they had a major problem of actually kind of dying out in the end.
And Mustangs actually decided to kick the ball off here, fielded in the end zone. That's going to be a touchback. So Wakefield going to start on their 20-yard line once again.
Yeah, Rubino has just been a great success today. He's been providing great field position for the Mustang defense.
Yeah, and you know, as you said, he does have that Appalachian State scholarship. It's actually one of the better colleges to be a kicker at that altitude. The ball travels a little bit faster, or a little bit farther, I should say, just because the air is less dense. I don't know if I honestly doubt that had anything to do with his decision making, but food for thought. And here's a run up the middle, stuff for no gain.
It's just been like a bunch of what I've seen so far in this game is it's just been a bunch of little plays with a few yardage, and then one or two just like huge offensive or defensive plays like an interception or a fumble, and then just the momentum from that big play just carries them on to the end zone.
And flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be a false start against Wakefield.
It's going to bring them back 5 yards.
Mustangs defender number 5 pointing at Wakefield, as he is probably the most reliable source of information about who jumped off sides first. We'll see what the call is here.
Looks like the refs took back the call and they declined the penalty.
So they'll resume exactly where they were. McKay drops back, makes a huge pass.
And hit off the hands of the Wakefield receiver. So there actually wasn't a flag on the play. As I'm being explained, it was sideline encroachment. Looked like the Mustangs are getting a little bit too close to the action.
And that's one thing I've had a great experience with, because like in things like lacrosse games, you always want to see what's going on. So you always inch closer and closer to the sideline until you're actually on it. And then the refs have to say, guys, just watch out, just back up.
So 3rd and 10, again, off the hands of a Wakefield receiver. 3 minutes and 8 seconds left here in the first half. And the punt unit is going to come on for Wakefield. Mustangs still have plenty of time to facilitate a scoring drive here.
Matt Schmidt, the returner, hasn't had many returns this year. It seems like everyone's been kicking it off to the other side of him.
Yeah, Matt Schmidt he's a great returner, except for there where we kick it right about to him.
And fielded at about the 44-yard line, gain of about a yard. Looked like he wanted to do something with it. Got tripped up. And you guys talk about Matt Schmidt. I have to, the blood in me, give a shout out to Jason Schmidt. His older brother used to be part of the sports blog. Actually commentated the first week of Mustangs football here on the sports blog.
Garner.
And again, guys, if you have any questions or comments, just hashtag us at #SportsBlockAnswers, and then we'll give you a shout out. And if you want to post a picture of yourself on Twitter at the game, at SportsBlockMCHS.
And that's going to be a screen play well enough for a first down.
Mitchell on the reception there. And guys, let me just tell you, those of you listening at home, it is just a beautiful day today. Or night today, or night, I guess you could say. It's been staying at around 70 degrees with barely any clouds. Oh, picked up a little bit there. But I mean, it's just been purely focused on football. And that's one of the better things about having nice weather, is because if you have rain or something, you always have to watch out for like the athletes slipping, and there's an increased risk of injury, and that can just be no fun all around. But I mean, football is still football, and it's always fun to watch.
So 2nd and 8 here. Crystal looking to throw, and over the middle, Bullet caught for a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Going to bring up 3rd and 3 just about.
Taken down by Julian Drew.
Moves the ball to the 39. 3rd and about 5.
Looked a little funny there because they all checked their plays at the same time.
And 3rd and 5 throw over the middle, caught. Going to have enough for the first down plus some. A little bit over a minute and 30 seconds left here.
Looks like the Mustangs have been switching it up from a little bit what I've seen. As I've already said a few times, it's just been like little play, then a really big play. It looks like the Middle Creeks have been, the Mustangs have been consistently getting around 10 yards or 10 or 15 yards on each play.
Evan Yanulovich, again, he keeps getting, every play he gets the ball, he always makes at least a first down, 10 yards, so every time.
Crystal going deep, has an open receiver, and that's going to be brought in for another Middle Creek touchdown. Went deep, and he had enough separation and perfect ball placement by Crystal for that to be another score for the Mustangs. So we were talking about this game not too long ago, not really being what we expected, and just like that, very quickly, this has turned into a very high Mustang scoring game. They're up 4 scores here on Wakefield.
Wakefield's got to keep their spirits up, because if they give up now, then they're just going to get the mercy rule enacted, and that's not going to be pretty. If they keep their spirits up, they can get a comeback and then bring the score back.
And that touchdown was by number 10, Rasheem Eaton. And that's a new face that I haven't seen with many points up on the board. So it's nice to see him getting some points up for him there.
So, minute 19 seconds left here. Going to be tough for Wakefield to really get anything going. Definitely possible to score depending on their field position. Going to be difficult with how good the Mustangs defense has been here today.
This is very similar to actually what we've seen with Smithfield-Selma. It looked out to be a decent game in the beginning, and then Mustangs just started to rack up points, and it improved the Mustangs' morale while also destroying poor Smithfield-Selma's morale. So it looks like with the Mustangs starting to take off, the Wakefield is starting to get a little discouraged here. But you can never say anything too soon with football, so it's obviously still a game. And it's only second half, too. Or it's only still in the first half.
I don't know about you gentlemen, but I will be grabbing some food at the concession stand. I probably eat about 5 meals a day, and I'm behind right now, so I have to just gorge myself on pizza.
Well, with all that stuff you have at USC.
I'm not allowed to talk about it anymore. I've been cut off from talking about it. And opts to kick it into the end zone here.
Big kick again.
That's a touchdown.
And once again, first and 20. First and 10 on the 20, I should say.
Every kick from Rubino so far has been a touchback.
And that's obviously why he has a scholarship to App State. I mean, he's just a great kicker and punter.
Yeah, I haven't really kept up with many of the Mustangs' scholarship opportunities. Grizel is good enough to where I can definitely see him getting a D2, maybe even a D1 scholarship. Quarterback position, there are so many good quarterbacks throughout the country, so those are a little bit more difficult to come by, but he will definitely get some sort of opportunity at the collegiate level, I would definitely say.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a fantastic quarterback, and as we've said multiple times already, he's just a double threat. He can run and pass. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes of all these Middle Creek Mustangs.
2nd and 4 with 1 minute left. Ball on the 26.
And over the middle off the hand of number 8. Going to stop the clock at 52.8 seconds. 52.9 seconds.
Looks like, and as I've said multiple times already, guys, Wakefield, it looks like they're starting to lose it a little bit because they're just making like little mistakes like that, just like slightly over, just bobbling the pass a little bit.
And that one was tipped at the line, could have been caught, was dropped again. I'd be interested to see the statistics on drop passes here tonight. There have been plenty off the hands of receivers or just outright dropped, similar to that last play. And out comes Wakefield's punting unit. So just like that, took approximately 20 seconds to get Wakefield on and off the field.
I think McKay was starting to get a little bit nervous there because he looked for an option that wasn't quite open, and he just threw it a little too low to where the line could jump up and just tip it a little bit.
Middle Creek's either going to go hard for the touchdown or they're going to stall the game out until the second half.
Well, I've never known Middle Creek to go easy, so they're just a very aggressive team that comes out fighting really, really hard and keeps that momentum going throughout the game.
And that punt, it takes a very generous Wakefield roll towards the 22-yard line.
On the 22. 38 seconds to go.
38 seconds. I think Middle Creek might just stall it out here.
I mean, Bryant might do one of his signature huge throws that most of us know him from, basically the highlight reels, I guess you could say, of him making a huge pass and everybody going, ah. So it'd be fun to see one of those plays again.
And it does look like they're just going to kind of run the clock down here.
Ball on the 26.
Elliott drove on that tackle. Second down.
And it looks like they might just try and go deep here. Got 3 receivers lined up on the right side. Actually just going to hand it off to Perry, who's not really able to get anywhere. And winding down from 5 seconds here. And just like that, Middle Creek going to go into halftime up 35-7 on Wakefield. There appears to be an injured Mustang on the field. Can't be a good sign.
Looked like that was Elijah Perry. That could be bad news for the Mustangs.
And we'll keep you updated. We're going to take a quick commercial break for halftime. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. And we're back very briefly with the Sports Block. We're going to go down to Abby Carr real quick for a halftime report.
It's halftime, and the score is 35-7 for the Mustangs. They're playing really well offensively and working hard to find the gaps and weaknesses in the Wolverines' defensive line, but they do need to tighten up on their passing and teamwork. I think if they do that in the second half, then they will come out on top and win tonight's game. Back to you.
All right, Abby, thank you for that report. Now we're going to turn it over to the mighty Mustang Marching Band for their halftime performance, so stay tuned and watch the band.
Drum majors, is your band ready? You may take the field in performance. Thank you for watching tonight's show. The band's next performance will be at our next home game next Friday night right here. Now, if you purchased a savings card, you may want to pay attention. We have the winners, the Ruckus gift card. The winning number is 1003789. The Butcher Market winning number is 1004151. And the Golden Corral and Fuquay winning number is 10035.
This is the sports block. We're going to go to a break. We'll be right back.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
And we're back with the second half of the Middle Creek Wakefield game. Middle Creek leads 35-7 over Wakefield. They chose to defer the ball at the beginning of the game, and they will be receiving here to begin the half. This could be a relatively short kick fielded at around the 15.
Flag on the
the
play.
field, and he actually breaks away. Got to beat the kicker and running down the sidelines.
Oh, just barely knocked out there.
That was Jonathan Spencer with the return. Beautiful return there.
Hopefully they're not going to be brought back by that flag.
Typically in these situations, I will imagine that this is going to be against the Mustangs, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have been a lot more excited about that kickoff return. And it is, in fact. So that one's going to be coming right on back. Blocking the back against the Mustangs.
You know John Spencer's got to be upset about that. He just made that huge run. He was all pumped up, and then they just bring the whole team back.
So the Mustangs going to be backed up pretty deep in their own territory. They're going to be starting from around the 12-yard line.
Yeah, here is not a place you want to fumble it. Like we've seen a lot of turnovers in this game, and this is another place you would not want it.
And Grisel with the snap, and forward progress is going to have Perry down at around the 6-yard line.
That's going to really hurt the Mustangs. Now they're going to have much more pressure put on their quarterback, and he has to make a really good play here. Otherwise, could spell doom for them.
So 2nd and 14 here. Grisel in the shotgun formation, backed up right at the heels of the end zone. Gets rid of it, completed, just barely over past the line of scrimmage. So going to bring up about 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13.
I'm amazed the refs didn't call a hold on that. The guy was pulling at his shirt.
Mustangs are lining up with twins left and right, with Grisel back with Perry.
And he actually fumbles the ball, just going to fall on it. Fortunately, that one stayed out of the end zone. Going to be down at about the 4-yard line, so going to be a tough punt to get off here.
That was, as I said before, that's not a place you want to fumble it. Because as soon as you fumble it there, that's instantly just a huge decline in morale for your team, and it's obviously a most likely loss of yards.
And very deep here in the end zone. Kicks it, going to land at a little past the 40. Looking to make a return here. And he's going to be
stiff arming.
He's going to be out at around the 35-yard line.
Managed to stay in for a while there, though.
So probably the best field position on the day to start off a drive for Wakefield.
Looks like there's a player down. Looks like he got hit while he was on the sideline.
And looks like they're going to see what's up with him. He's on the sideline, so I don't know if there really necessarily needs to be a stoppage in play. Coaches are talking with the refs, maybe looking for a penalty of some sort. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what they're trying to get out of this, because I don't really see anything that could be called for that.
If anything, I would think a late hit. It's really hard to see this stuff happening in real time and just say exactly what they're talking about.
It looks like Castellano is a little upset. So, yeah, he was probably trying to go for a penalty for maybe a late hit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And this is starting to drag off, so we're going to take on a commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
And we're back. Player was able to get up on his own accord. 1st and 10 on the 30 for Wakefield. Quarterback steps up under pressure. Looks like he's got enough for the first and finally slides down at the 20-yard line.
McKay, again, just showing how he can be a double threat, running and passing. I mean, that was a great run, like something you'd expect out of like a regular season running back.
So 1st and 10 on the 20, looking to throw. Caught and steps out of bounds at about the 12, 13-yard line.
Marius Cooper with the catch.
I'm looking forward to seeing a little more from Wakefield with their leading scorer, Dontel Dunstan. I haven't seen him too much this game, but with him being their leading scorer, I expect to see a lot of points out of him.
So on 2nd and 4, quick little slant pass. It's going to be caught and run into the end zone for a Wakefield touchdown.
That touchdown was performed by Kelton Whitehead, the running back for the Wolverines.
And with that name being said, and that's who I've seen most of the points out of this far in the game. He's really stepped up to the plate.
So that's going to push the score to 35-14.
Next opponent attempt is good. That makes the score.
This is where Middle Creek can't let up, because if they keep making little mistakes and little fumbles like this, then Wakefield can catch up in no time, and then it's going to become 35-35, and they may lose the lead.
I mean, yeah, with the team that they were supposed to beat, this is an awful close game. I mean, well, closer than any of us expected it to be. We all expected it here to be at around 49-7, like the Smithfield-Selma game. But so far, Wakefield has definitely shown that they really want this win, and they are fighting and fighting with everything they have. And McKay, he's definitely showing that he really wants this win also, because he's been running, he's been doing stuff that is a little dangerous for a quarterback to do. But he's still showing that he's willing to do anything to get this win.
So Wakefield on to kick off once again. I've not had many opportunities to kick off here as a result of several interceptions and fumbles. Starting to get a little chilly out here tonight.
Shout out to Kelly Mayer watching us tonight.
And an onside kick by Wakefield off the hand of a Middle Creek special teamsman, and going to be Mustang's ball.
Score update for the SWAC conference. Apex is 35 against Riverside 13, and it's the third quarter. Athens Drive versus Green Hope halftime. Green Hope is up 21-19. And then
1st and 10, ball on the 42-yard line here. Mustangs with pretty solid field position to start off the drive.
And Panther Creek is up 20-0 on Leesville.
So a little jet sweep here, has blockers. It's a little bit of room, gain of about 8 or 9 yards.
And he's tripped up by Jaleel Scroggins.
Running trips left here. Quick little handoff to Elijah Perry. Elijah Perry's running. Looks like he picked up about 5 yards there. It's going to bring Middle Creek for a first down. going to put him on the, looks like the 43-yard line. Sorry, Wakefield's the 43-yard line.
Tackled by Dunstan.
And fakes the jet sweep, play action pass. Throws it deep, has a wide open receiver, hauled in.
Amazing. That was just an amazing play all around.
Middle Creek touchdown. It's going to bring the score up 41-14.
Amazing play by Brant Grizel. He made that beautiful arcing pass on the run. As he was running from the pressure, it was a play action, fake jets. It was just amazing.
And good job by the receiver of getting separation there to make that play happen. And perfect ball placement of knowing where he was going to be by Grizel.
Evan Yanulovich again. He made these big plays last game against Smithfield Selma, and he's bringing them back here against Wakefield.
And flags all over the place. False start on Middle Creek. That's probably a first I've seen on a point after attempt.
Penalty on the play. Illegal procedure against Middle Creek. Backs the ball up 5 yards. Rubino to take the extra point.
Shout out to my dad watching the game right now.
You go, Dad. And point after is good. 42-14 is the score.
Middle Creek 42. Wakefield 14.
So 8 minutes and 33 seconds left here in the third quarter. Certainly a high-scoring game for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and with teams they've had 2 high-scoring games in a row. With Smithfield Selma, 49 points to 7. That's a pretty decent score, and racking up 42-14. That's still a pretty good score.
If Middle Creek can get 2 more touchdowns and Wakefield doesn't get any more, then the mercy rule will get enacted again.
And Middle Creek is definitely showing their dominance across multiple conferences, because Wakefield isn't even in our conference. Same with Smithfield Selma.
Yeah, and not to generalize or anything here, but typically the better teams in high school football are belonging to the SWAC conference as well as the football teams down in Charlotte. Probably the 2 biggest areas is the Triangle area, along with the Charlotte area in terms of high school football. That's always who you see in the finals at the end of the season. And Middle Creek definitely proving that they're one of the best in the SWAC and around the area. So here's another booming kick. Going to be fielded in the end zone for a touchback. No?
No, he's running it. Huge play. Middle Creek was obviously not expecting that. It's between him and Rubino.
And he's going 20, 10, touchdown. David Knight for the touchdown for Wakefield. That's going to bring the score 20-42.
See, I thought that the rule was in high school is if your feet were in the end zone, whether you took a knee or not, it was a touchback, and I thought his feet were in fact in the end zone.
Yeah, it looked like it, and that is indeed the rule. That did surprise me a little bit, and you can obviously see that Middle Creek was not expecting that because they didn't quite set up.
I don't know if it was a lapse in blocking or what have you, because I don't really think any of the Mustangs gave up on the play, but I think maybe one that slipped past the officials here.
Yeah, certainly, because Rubino has been consistently hitting it into the end zone, with some even clearing the end zone. So I was pretty sure that he caught it within the end zone, but as I said before, the refs have the final judgment in this.
Yep, as of right now, not a huge impact on the game. Does put them a little bit closer, but as it stands, Middle Creek is up twice as much on Wakefield. So perhaps not entirely game-breaking, that lack of a call, but definitely might come and play down the road. Like we've said several times, you never know.
Yeah, well, those big plays are definitely a boost for morale, because, I mean, even when you see those big plays on TV, you have to admit, you jump off your couch and you're like, yeah, go, go, go. So, I mean, as the team that's having that big play for them, you have to know that's a pretty big confidence booster.
And they did try the onside kick last kickoff. We'll see. Doubt they would try and do it back-to-back, but we'll see.
Middle Creek is obviously going to try and get this one as far as possible, maybe and try and get a return kickoff touchdown here.
And kind of a little bit of a squib kick out of bounds. And that is a flag. And it's going to give the Mustangs very good field position. I believe it's the 35-yard line they're going to start from. Is the rule if it goes out of bounds automatically on the 35-yard line.
That was an interesting play by Wakefield. I didn't exactly see what they were going for there with that. It was kind of a large squib kick that was up in the air for a long time, and it didn't really go. It didn't look like it'd go anywhere for them, because I mean there was nobody really there. It was heading straight for the end, for the sideline.
I think that's why the ref threw up the flag, because it went out into the end zone. Because I'm pretty sure the rule is you have to go to a player and not just out into the end, outside the bounds.
And that's going to be a Middle Creek first down here. But yeah, that is in fact an official rule, is if it does go out of bounds on the kickoff, it is automatically on the 35-yard line. It is considered a penalty. So 1st and 10 ball on Mustangs 46-yard line.
Great field position here for the Mustangs. Let's see if they can get a little bit of a return here.
And caught back shoulder by the receiver, going to be tackled, or actually marked out of bounds at around the 53-yard line. The 53-yard line, the 47-yard line. So now back into Wakefield territory.
Lining up with Twins left and right here. Stewart Fine to Grizel's left.
And goes deep once again in double coverage and has him beat.
And
Just tripped up right before the end zone.
Middle Creek's back in the red zone.
The receiver just managed to outrun the cornerback that was covering him, and even the help that came, he just managed to outrun both of them, and Grizel made a clean pass straight to him.
It looked like Shim and Hicks right there with the beautiful run up there.
And ball now on the 3-yard line, 1st and goal. And fakes the handoff, going to go right on in is Stewart. Elijah Perry on the touchdown. And every time that Wakefield seems to get a little bit of momentum, Middle Creek answers right back with a score of their own.
And it kind of makes you wonder if those big plays that are supposed to pump up the other team and demoralize the team they're against is actually starting to pump up Middle Creek, which is a little strange.
So 49-21 is now the score. And still only in the 3rd quarter, 7 minutes and 34 seconds left in it, which is still a very large chunk of time. And this game is going by actually now extremely slow as compared to what a typical game might be going. There's been a lot of passing, a lot of stoppages in play because of scoring or penalties or what have you. So this is going to be, if this keeps up, a pretty drawn-out game here for the players, the fans, and Sports Block.
For sure. And it's a pretty high-scoring game, too, 49-21. It's usually about as high as you get at the high school level.
That's 70 points overall. That's more than what Wakefield scored before this game overall. They scored 61 points before this game.
So I don't know if sportsmanship starts coming into play with these kickoffs. I don't know if it would be unsportsmanlike of Castellano to not have any or to attempt an onside kick. We'll see what he opts to do here.
Well, I mean, bringing into context Smithfield Selma again, Coach Castellano showed that he was relentless in his pursuit of that win.
So they will, in fact, kick it deep, off the hands, and into the end zone. And that's going to be a touchback for Smithfield. I'm sorry, Wakefield.
And Wakefield is going to start off with the ball on their own 20-yard line.
Wakefield takes over on the 20.
With 7:33 left in third quarter, and with it being so late, it's starting to get a little drawn out. You can see some people are leaving, but I mean, it's still an exciting game for us up here.
And juggled by the receiver. Defender might have been able to have a play on the ball as it was kind of in the air for quite a bit of time. Nonetheless, incomplete pass, 2nd and 10. You know, you really expect them to be passing the ball, try to get as much use out of the clock and as much yardage. That one batted in the air. Going to bring up 3rd and 10. They're just going to have to keep airing it out and hoping they get big play after big play if they want to have any shot at this game.
Yeah, the one thing I did see with that play was McKay. I've seen many tips from him off the line, which I think he needs to kind of like look at the field a little bit more and see like how close he truly is to the line. And if he is really that close, stop throwing those bullet passes straight over the line and maybe go for more of a little arc.
And this one over the middle, and this is one of those big plays we were talking about. Has to outrun 5 Mustangs and is able to do it. And what started off of what looked like a little, first down, able to outrun almost everybody. And that's going to push the score to going to be 28-49 pending the extra point attempt.
That was Jeremy Massenberg with the touchdown right there. He's the running back on the Wolverines.
So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. With these big plays, as I said before, it's Miss Smithfield's got to be pumped up, and they're just fun to see. They make the football game really interesting, and that's what gets everyone on their feet and really excited.
So just like that, 49-28. And as long as the Mustangs offense keeps producing, it's not really that big of an issue. However, for the defense, a bigger issue for them might be Castellano's wrath after giving them an earful on that play.
That is very true. Castellano is not very happy when things like that happen. Just those silly little mistakes that can easily be prevented.
Yeah, and might not be a big deal right now, but down the road in either this game or perhaps in other games, you really don't want to give up that big of a play no matter how big of a lead you have. And I don't think any football coach, Castellano or anybody else, is really happy about that big of a play against the defense.
Yeah, and with this game, it's just really showing, I guess, Castellano could use this as a learning experience because it's really showing him what the holes are. And that's how Wakefield is making these huge plays because they're actually finding, they managed to find every single little hole in the Mustangs defense and make a huge play out of it. And that's what's honestly just scoring them touchdowns right now because Middle Creek, I guess you could say, has a little more finesse as a team, but Wakefield definitely looks like they have the aggression right now.
And here's the kick. Going to be an onside kick, fielded very easily by the Mustangs. So Mustangs going to have pretty solid field position at the 44-yard line, their own 44-yard line.
Onside kick was looked a little weird there, like it wasn't quite. The kicker didn't quite get it right off his foot. Middle Creek is lining up with twins left and right again. Looks with Stuart Fine to Grizel's left, and he makes a big play. Well, not particularly big, but it was for a 4-yard gain. It's going to put the Mustangs with 2nd and 6.
And you would imagine the Mustangs might want to start running the ball a little bit more than they have, just to kind of burn some clock, and they've also had success doing it. And Gristle just going to throw it well out of bounds.
Yeah, that was something you actually see quite a lot in the NFL when players are pressured and they're just not, and they just really can't make any good concise passes that would benefit and make like forward momentum and not hurt the team. And see, Brandt just shows like his maturity as a football player there, where he's able to make a decision, a real like lightning fast like that actually probably benefits the team in the long run.
3rd and 6 here. Gristle steps up, hit as he throws, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Slips right through Kadir Ford's hands.
Pass is incomplete, defended by number 32, Julian Drew. Brings up 4th down for Middle Creek.
So 4th and 6, out comes the punting unit. And not a lot of pressure. Lands a little bit past the 20 and going to bounce out around the 15-yard line. So good job getting the ball out of there. And a flag flies on the field very late as Mustangs are running off the field. I don't know what's up with that.
1st and 10, Wakefield. Flag on the play.
Looks like the flag might have been for unsportsmanlike conduct. I think they might have to kick the ball again.
And it was, in fact, unsportsmanlike. Didn't see anything unsportsman really happen.
I think he might have just said something, and then the ref might have heard it.
That's honestly probably what it was, as there's no really defender or any Wakefield players in the area for them to be unsportsmanlike with.
It is, in fact, unsportsmanlike conduct on Middle Creek, and they're going to get 15 yards to start at the 30-yard line.
Ball moved back to the 30.
Castellano having a word with the refs, perhaps after the game plans, if they're going golfing this weekend. How are the wife and kids doing? Probably nothing football related.
No.
On the realsies, though, probably just getting an explanation as to what the flag was for.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the refs have certainly been really, really hard this game. And they've been calling every little thing that they think and see.
And
It really looks like Coach Castellano is not happy. He looks really mad now.
better be careful not to draw another flag.
Yeah, you can obviously see Coach Castellano is not a very happy camper, as they say.
So what started off as poor field position for Wakefield now evolves into not so terrible. They're on the 30-yard line. So first down, off the fingertips of a lineman and almost intercepted by a Mustang. Started running with it before he even had the ball.
And again, there's that tip I was talking about.
I don't know. I can't. It's really hard to judge height from the press box, but it doesn't look to be short or anything. I don't know if it's the defensive line size, or he just doesn't have enough elevation on the ball, but definitely something he needs to work on. Here's a handoff wrapped up for no gain.
Jeremy Massenberg with the run, and Matt McKay is 6'3" and 175 pounds, so I don't know why he can't throw it over the wall, over the defensive line.
I think he's just trying to get it there really fast. So Middle Creek defense doesn't really see what's happening, because that's the one thing about those bad. That's the one bad thing about those arc passes. They do get it over the line and make sure nobody can tip it, but they also, like, you can really easily read where it's going.
And that one was caught by number 12, still about 3 or 4 yards short of the first. Based on Wakefield's previous decision, based on their previous decisions, definitely going forward here as they're leaving the team out on the field.
They've got 4 yards to go. If they can get it, then they got a first down.
This is going to be interesting. They're pretty far in their own territory. And not a real benefit. He's running. Looks like he has a little bit of trouble, and it looks like they will get it.
And that is going to be the first. Almost slipped away from the tackle, but 3 other Mustangs there to take him down. So Wakefield converts on 4th down, keeps the drive going. Really perhaps shows a lack of faith in the defense of making a stop instead of just going ahead and punting it there to prevent perhaps the Mustangs from getting another score. They just went ahead and said, we need points, and rather that than their defense be on the field. So delayed handoff here. Mustang able to get off his block and tackle him. Limits him to a gain of about 4 or 5.
Yeah, and it's just been a really fun game to watch, because it really keeps you on your toes, because it kind of gets like a little dull there for a second when it's just like small little plays. And then there's another great play for like a first down or a turnover.
There was a fumble right there.
A fumble or something like that, or a big turnover.
Whitehead was hit pretty hard. I didn't see by who, but ball flew right out of his hands.
Wakefield will recover it. So that will be a first down for them. Ball on the Mustangs' 44-yard line. And, there is still a 3-touchdown lead, but Wakefield starting to perhaps chip away here. A couple stops on defense, and they're right back in it. That one just outside the reach of receiver number 9.
And that was quite obviously a pass play. I'm not surprised that one wasn't completed, because they lined up with trips left and twins right. There's no one in the backfield, so Middle Creek obviously knew what to look for with that. 49-28 with 4:17 to go in just the third quarter. And it's still it's starting to look like it's anyone's game right now, because Wakefield has really started taking over this quarter. They've really shined.
And Laundry on the field. Holding on Wakefield, so that's going to send him right on back. So Wakefield going a considerably fair length backwards. Ball is now on their own 43-yard line. They need 22 yards for a first.
Yeah, that was lost some major yardage.
Fakes the handoff over the middle, almost intercepted.
Looks like it.
Definitely,
maybe.
I definitely don't think the Mustangs.
And the refs call it as one.
That definitely hit the ground. That was, though it went in the Mustangs' favor, that was definitely a poor call by the refs.
The interception by Yorick Sands on the Mustangs.
That was an interesting call. As you said before, the refs made some interesting calls, and that was one of them. Honestly, as a supporter in Middle Creek, I did not think that looked like he had caught that, but
And flag on the field. And I think the ref just might have been at just the wrong angle to call the way he did. This is going to be a flag against Wakefield here. Substitution penalty.
Well, as a Middle Creek fan, I'm not complaining about that call.
Here at the Sports Block, we are unbiased and totally unopinionated in the outcome of these football games. Anything said by our commentators does not express the full views of the crew or their beliefs. And fakes a handoff, quick little screenplay over to the left, and fumbles, and then recovers it, actually for an extra amount of yards.
Yeah, that was the Wakefield defender just managed to get his hands in there and split it up a little bit, it looked like, but the runner said, no, I want that ball back.
That was a quick recover by Mitchell.
Bryant lining up with Elijah Perry to his right.
And under pressure, and he's going to go down for the sack, loss of about 5 yards there.
It looked like there was just no options open for him there. He's tried to stay in the pocket as long as he could, but then Wakefield just managed to get through the line.
Second.
So second down and 15 to go. And that one's going to be caught, makes a move, has a block, and able to turn up field for a large gain. Looked like that was going to be a minimal gain, and able to actually get the first down yards after the carry. Huge right there.
Yeah, managed to break quite a few tackles there and just kept on fighting. Middle Creek is running twins left and right here with Elijah Perry to Brandon Grizel's right.
And here's a snap over to the sideline. Turns it up. Gain of a yard or two. Tough to tell from this angle.
Matt Schmidt with the pass completion.
Middle Creek's really been throwing Wakefield off with this. They've had this set lineup where they've had twins left, twins right, and Elijah Perry on one or Elijah Perry or Stuart Fine on one side of Brandon Grizel. And it really throws them off because sometimes they run it and Brandon Grizel hands it off to Elijah Perry or Stuart Fine, or sometimes he makes like a quick little screen pass, or sometimes they go long. And it really throws Wakefield off because with them running the same line setup, you never know what's really going to happen out of it.
So 3rd and 3 here to show you just how poor my depth perception is. Actually, it was a gain of 7 on that first play. And looking to throw here on 3rd, dumps it off to his back. Got to beat one defender, not able to. Brought out of bounds at around the 3-yard line.
Elijah Perry has certainly been impressive these past few games. He's just been racking up the yardage and has had multiple touchdowns. He's just a tremendous player.
Dontel Dustin with the push out of bounds.
I'd actually go as far to say as he's starting to look like Naheem Hicks. Naheem Hicks of Garner was their X factor. He's what helped them so much.
And good open field tackle by the Wakefield defender to prevent him from dancing on in there. Gain of about a yard, I would say.
Second down. Second and goal.
So still 2nd and goal. Need about a yard or 2 to get on in there. Fine has the ball. And he's going to run it on in there for another Middle Creek touchdown. Kind of a bit of a deception there on who actually had the ball. Fine's with it and walks right on in, putting the score Mustangs 55, Wakefield 28.
And as we said at the beginning of the game, you really got to watch both of them because Stuart Fine, he's more of a, as you said, more of a power back, while Elijah Perry is more about speed and cutting. So it wasn't a surprise to me that they put Stuart Fine there in.
And that was actually a bad snap on the point after attempt, but Rubino able to drill it between the uprights. And the point after attempt puts the Mustangs up 56-28 on Wakefield. And once again, they have double Wakefield score.
This is a really high-scoring game, 56-28.
Yeah, this will certainly this is certainly an interesting game because it was supposed to be just another blowout, but Wakefield certainly seems to be fighting back. But every time Wakefield gets a touchdown, Middle Creek seems to answer right back. And when they with Middle Creek taking such an early lead, when Wakefield was still kind of getting used to them, it's going to be hard for Wakefield to catch back up because Middle Creek just keeps on answering every single one of their touchdowns. And you know the Wakefield coach is definitely got to be upset about that.
And with the score update, Green Hope versus Athens, it's 35-26 with Green Hope on top. And Leesville versus Panther Creek. Panther Creek is up 20-0, fourth quarter.
And a minute and 54 seconds left here in the third quarter.
It's going to be interesting to see what they go for here. I wonder if they're going to do another onside. Well, I haven't seen that many onsides from them this game, if any. But it's kind of interesting because Middle Creek keeps on really changing up their special teams here.
And this one fielded at around the 3-yard line. And he's going to be dragged down at about the 20.
David Knight on the return.
First down, Wakefield.
Wakefield is lining up with Twins left, and it looks like Twins right, yeah.
And quick little throw over to the halfback. Makes a
Whoa.
ankle-breaking moves. And he's down the sideline, got one person to beat, and he's going to be tackled out of bounds. But might not want to put that one on your mixtape if you're a Mustangs defender, as several ankles were broken in the making of that play.
Jonathan Spencer with that tackle at the end. And Jeremy Massenberg with the run down the field for a gain of...
It was quite a few yards. I don't know exactly how much that was, but tremendous gain of yards, and he was just cutting and dodging, and he broke quite a few ankles there. I mean, even as a Mustang fan, I got to say that was quite impressive.
And false start on the offense, going to be 1st and 15.
We have 1:28 left in the third quarter. And let's see if Wakefield can make anything out of the time they have left.
And snap looking to pass under pressure. Gets rid of it deep over the head of the receiver.
Oh, man.
Caught by the Mustangs, but out of bounds. Not going to count as an interception.
That was almost really, really bad. You can obviously see that Matt McKay was trying to just kind of get it out of bounds there, and just kind of get it near the receiver, so no penalty was called. But that almost ended up really, really bad. And as I said, when you're running, it's way less accurate than when you're standing still and in the pocket. And I think McKay just was having a hard time, was having a little bit of trouble throwing it there.
So 2nd and 15 here. Ball on the 47-yard line. Halfback pitches it, or quarterback pitched it to the halfback, and he's going to be tackled out of bounds for a gain of about 3.
Right here on the carry. Taken out of bounds by Brendan Weinberg.
Looks like we have an injury on the field.
And on this injury, we're going to go down to Abby Carr on the sideline for a injury report, or inter-quarter report, whatever you want to call it.
The score is 56-28 with the Mustangs in the lead. It seemed like they lost a little of their momentum after a pretty serious injury to number 55, Terry Patterson, but they definitely regained it with some great interceptions and some good touchdowns by Unulovic, Perry, and Stewart. If they can just maintain that lead through one last quarter, then they will definitely come out on top. This is Abby, back to you.
Thank you, Abby. And injured Mustangs still on the field, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back with the Sports Block, 3rd and 14. Ball on the 46-yard line. A minute and 7 left here in the half, or quarter, I should say. And under pressure, he's brought down for a huge sack. That was a loss of probably about 10 yards there. So not really a situation that you can go for it on 4th and forever.
Brought down by 44, Matt Mariano on the Mustangs.
But the punt team is not out on 4th and forever.
Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know what they're going for here.
25 yards to convert. And over the top. Intercepted by the Mustangs.
Down at the 30-yard line.
And I guess that works the same as punting the ball.
Yeah, that was. I guess that works, but definitely not what I would have expected out of Wakefield, with so many yards to make up for the first down, to try and make something out of that, and then having an interception. Well, I mean, he did get brought down, but
might have been better for them just to go for the punt. They pumped up the Mustangs now, and then they brought themselves down a little bit by that interception.
Perry upended about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it looks like his foot got caught a little bit there, and he was just going to try to jump a little bit out of it, but his foot was caught too much.
And about under 10 seconds left here. The Mustangs just going to let the clock wind down to end the quarter.
I think that was Kendall Johnson who flipped him over there.
And with that, it's the end of the 3rd quarter. Mustangs lead 56-28. Going into the 4th, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and we're back with the Sports Block, 3rd and 11. Ball on the 29-yard line, according to the scoreboard.
This is interesting looking formation there.
Gristle looking to pass, goes deep, not looking very good. That one's shot over his head about 5 yards too far, and that's going to bring up 4th and 11. Punting team comes right back on.
It's an interesting defensive formation there by Wakefield. Don't know if that was looked a little bit like zone coverage. It's strange.
I don't know. Maybe because it's getting late in the game and they're losing, they're going to try anything at this point.
Middle Creek lining up to take this punt.
And Rubino line drive, lands a little bit in front of the 40. And going to be no return here.
Takes a little bit of a bounce for Middle Creek.
Going to be on Wakefield's 36-yard line is where they're marking it.
Wakefield hits over on about 36.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 36-yard line.
First down, Wakefield.
Wakefield is running twins left, trips right and twins left.
And that one's going to be caught at the 40-yard line, no yards after the catch, gain of about 2, 3, maybe 4 yards.
Seems like McKay's been using his running backs as wide receivers now. He's been throwing Jeremy Massenberg and Kelton Whitehead the ball a lot instead of to his wide receivers, and he's not running the ball through them.
Lining up with twins left and right. May try to make a quick little handoff right there, but it didn't work out.
Tackled by Tavon Holland, number 24 on the Mustangs.
So 3rd and 7 here, ball on the 39. You have to wonder if they're just going to keep going for 4th downs after going for it on 4th and 25.
Managed to break that tackle. That was impressive because that was a decent hit.
Yeah, he was hit pretty hard. He was able to just shake it off and keep going.
And again, I saw how low that pass was by Matt McKay, and he really needs to watch that. He's had so many tip passes. He just needs to lift it up just a little bit higher.
I mean, his team isn't that short. Most of them are 5'10 plus. So most of them are actually 5'10, 5'11, or 6 foot. So I think that he should shoot it a little higher so they can get it to their chest.
And the pump fake fakes out the Middle Creek defender, and another interception by the Mustangs. And every time they start getting momentum, down they go, is what it seems like. Way too many offensive turnovers. I believe that's either 4 or 5 on the day, not counting failed 4th down conversions.
That was Yorick Sands with the interception right there. Second interception of the night.
Yeah, the Middle Creek defense is certainly doing their job in certain parts, but in other parts you also see where there's a large hole in the defense, or there was like a missed call in the defense when they read the Wakefield wrong. With those huge plays, like Wakefield will just have like no yardage or maybe even negative yardage, and then they just come out with like a huge yardage play.
And looked like a little screen pass, gain of about 5.
Pass is complete.
Nine 9:18 left in the 4th quarter.
About 7 on that pass play.
This game has certainly been a little more drawn out than usual with how many stoppages we've had, as you said before.
And a little pitch to Perry, makes a few moves, able to make a few defenders miss, going to be tackled. Looks like they're giving him the first there.
Gain of about 5, and that's the Middle Creek. First down. Morgan's on the tackle.
And 1st and 10, flag on the
down.
field. And open receiver, but out of his reach.
Pass is incomplete. There's a flag on the play.
Let's see what this flag is.
And delegating here around the 26-yard line.
We're now on sale for $2.
Looks like they're trying to decide what happened here. It's going to be on the Mustangs, it looks like. Maybe holding? I didn't quite see what that was.
Yeah, I did not pick up on that. 1st and 15. Ball on the 20.
Loss of 5 yards there. Not much, but still not fun.
Hand off to Perry.
He's again tripped up.
Perry the carrier.
Gain of about 4 on the carry.
Upgrade on that tackle. 2nd down.
Burning some clock time here. Gristle looking to pass now. Pump fakes and then going to be sacked. Perhaps good decision of hanging on to that ball as Wakefield defenders were right there to stop him.
Beautiful sack by Marcus Spell.
Makes you think if he was actually about to throw that, but then he saw the defenders coming on, and he was like, I better hold on to this.
So 3rd and 16 here, looking to pass. A little screenplay to the outside. Has some room to run, but going to be well short of the first. Or actually, they might have it based on where they're marking the ball. We'll see.
Looks like it's going to be a 4th down, barely though.
And it is, in fact, a 1st down for the Mustangs.
And guys, remember, if you have any questions or comments, just tweet us #SportsBoxAnswers, and we'll answer your questions, respond to your comments, and take a picture of yourself at the game, and we'll give you a shout out at SportsBlock MCHS.
And carry up the middle. Gain about a yard or 2. Flag on the play. Or excuse me, no flag on the play. And I'd like to give a quick shout out to Jason Schmidt and Patrick Pastrana watching the Sports Block using the Chromecast that they were given as a sort of gift from me. Big shout out to you guys. Thanks for watching. Of course, some of our biggest supporters were members of the Sports Block previous years.
Fine on the carry, and
Fine on the carry.
looks like a gain of about 2 yards.
Jason Smith is certainly missed here.
3rd down. Ball's on the 40.
Great commentator.
Flag on the play. Looks like it was either an offsides or a false start.
False start against Middle Creek.
It's going to send him back 5 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 10 at the 30.
Now 5 minutes and 45 seconds here remaining in the game.
It looks like Middle Creek is going to stay on top with this. False start.
against Middle Creek, so 3rd and 15 now.
Against the Mustangs. Moves the ball back in
Or offside, excuse me.
3rd and 15.
5 yards, but still frustrating.
Middle Creek, last game, near the end, they had a lot of penalty trouble, and looks like they're having it again. They need to fix this problem here. Otherwise, in a really crucial game, they're going to slip up, and those penalties are going to really hurt them.
So now 4th and long. Obvious punt situation here. They are up 28 here with 5 minutes left here in the 4th. And just kind of wasting as much clock as they can. I mean, even if Wakefield still has some fight left in them, it's not going to do much. Low snap.
Problems in the backfield. Rubino tries to get it off, but...
And unclear recovery right there. It's either recovered by Hutchins Rackjuan on the Mustangs, or...
Well, no matter who touched it, it's still going to be Wakefield's ball. So Wakefield's going to have pretty good field position here around the 38-yard line is where they have the ball right now.
Well, wasn't it touched by a Wakefield player earlier? I thought it was tipped by a Wakefield.
I haven't a clue.
I thought it was tipped by a Wakefield player, so I was like, that's why I thought.
I don't think so. Don't quote me on that though. All right, so 1st down. So I'm just going to dump it off past his receiver. 2nd and 10.
Pass intended for Massenberg. Second down.
2nd and 10 at the 39 at the Mustangs 39.
And here's the snap handoff. Going to be tackled for a gain of about 5.
Massenberg with a carry.
He
Number 61.
tackled by Cameron Tanjong, number 61 on the Mustangs.
This game is certainly drawn out.
Third down.
And he's going to be sacked on 3rd and 6. So that's going to bring up 4th and long. And they're pretty much forced to go for it here in this situation.
Sack made by Marshall Chavis on the Mustangs.
Yeah, and you know, as we've perhaps complained about, I don't know if it's really a complaint, but mentioned that this game is kind of drawn out. We're actually 2 hours and 40 minutes into this game, including a 5-minute pregame as well as the halftime show. And steps up and dropped by the receiver.
Flag on the play.
Most likely going to be unsportsmanlike conduct.
Missed where that happened. I was looking more towards the receiver.
Yeah, it was a little bit in the backfield. Two of the players got in a little bit of a scuff.
Just depends on who started it first or who the foul will probably get on.
Against Wakefield.
So that might have been the nail in the coffin. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the. And we're right on back. Hope you did not get up to get chips because you're going to still be up. That was a very quick commercial break. Even too quick for some of our commentators. No names will be named, but first and 10. Mustangs are just going to keep running the ball for the rest of the game, burn down as much clock as they can. Clock actually isn't running right now.
There it is.
Now the clock's running.
Now under 3 minutes here in the fourth.
Mustangs lining up with trips left and right. Elijah Perry is next to Brent Grizel.
If I had $1 for every time I've said his last name differently, because I keep alternating between Grizel, Grizel, and that is a huge run. Because he found a hole and just went with it.
Yeah, that was definitely a big run.
That tackle looked like it was made by Peebles on the Wolverines.
And clock just ticking away here. 10 seconds on the play clock. Oh, bad snap. Grizel's going to pick it up and just run with it. And actually able to get back to around the line of scrimmage. Good recovery there.
Amazing effort by Brent Grizel.
And we're now inside 2 minutes. This is high school football, so there is no 2-minute warning. And Mustangs doing their I believe that we will win cheer.
And it is now, I believe that we just won.
Well, game's not over.
Anything could happen. This is high school football.
I don't know.
If it was more like the Garner game in the beginning where it was 21-21 and then Middle Creek came in near the end. 28-21.
And 3rd and 10 here. Third and 8, as I'm being corrected by our professional football analyst, Helen Kimball, here for the Sports Block.
We have two here, Wes Petty and Helen Kimball.
And he's going to be tackled short of the first. Not really going to make much of a difference here. Clock's winding down. And Wakefield not even bothering wasting their timeouts here to stop the clock. And just like that, Mustang is just going to wait for the clock to expire. Play clock hasn't even started going yet. And they're going to walk off the field, victors of this game. They take this one 56-28 over the Wakefield Wildcats. An impressive display of offensive performance and perhaps more impressively defensive performance for the Mustangs here today. They had several takeaways from the Wakefield offense and really set up the offense to be able to produce the numbers that they did. Unfortunately for Wakefield, they were plagued by penalties and fumbles as well as interceptions and just dug themselves into a hole that they could not come out of. Don't have any official stats on the game. Unfortunately, not one of the features provided by the Sports Block. Perhaps check Max Preps or News and Observer after the game if you want official statistics.
Looks like Middle Creek's going to keep their being number one in the SWAC conference, and we're going to get some scores from other SWAC conference teams.
So overall, if I had to describe this game, it would probably just have been all Middle Creek. They had a few lapses in defense here and there, but overall in the end did not end up mattering too much. And as you see at the bottom of the screen, Green Hope beating Athens Drive 35-28. So they will remain around the top with Middle Creek. Definitely going to keep an eye on the standings, shaping up to be, as always, a competitive conference. And do you two gentlemen have any remarks you want to make, perhaps about the game or any individual players?
I really had my eyes on Elijah Perry the whole time. He was just a tremendous player, and shout out to Stuart Fine too. But Elijah Perry just really, what I feel like was the star player here. He was showing how versatile he was. He was making great plays, breaking ankles. Just a great player overall.
And that's going to do it for us here at the Sports Block.
I'm Jonah Mayer.
I'm Mag Bayumi.
And special guest Will Geddes signing off for another edition of the Sports Block. Have a good night.